What if the most terrifying monster in the ocean wasn't a monster at all? For decades, the deep sea has been sending us chilling messages, strange, powerful, and deeply unsettling sounds recorded by secret hydrophone arrays have fueled our nightmares of undiscovered leviathans. Three of these sounds became the stuff of legend: the bloop, the train, and the upsweep. For years, many believed these sounds were proof of giant sea monsters, creatures far larger and louder than anything known to science. But the truth hidden in the official data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, is even more fascinating. We're going to break down the official recordings and scientific data to expose what's really making these noises. And the answer will change how you think about the dark, silent depths of our oceans forever. Let's start with the most famous of them all, the bloop. In 1997, researchers listening for underwater volcanoes in the South Pacific recorded something they had never heard before. It was an ultra-low frequency sound, but it was unbelievably powerful. In fact, it was so loud it was detected by hydrophones more than 3,000 miles, or nearly 5,000 kilometers, apart across the vast Pacific. The sound was nicknamed the bloop. The version you usually hear is sped up 16 times to be audible. At its real speed, it's a slow, deep rumble that lasts for about a minute, rising in frequency. It sounds hauntingly biological, and that's where the monster theory was born. When scientists analyzed the sound, its acoustic profile resembled that of a marine animal, but its sheer volume was off the charts. It was several times louder than the call of a blue whale, the loudest animal on Earth. The tantalizing conclusion was that it had to be an animal, but one of a colossal unknown scale, a real-life leviathan lurking in the unexplored dark. The idea captured the public's imagination, and for years, the bloop was Exhibit A for those who believe in sea monsters. But scientists at NOAA were not convinced. They kept listening, deploying more hydrophones closer to the sound's suspected origin near Antarctica. The breakthrough came as they analyzed data collected between 2005 and 2010, when they compared the bloop's sound signature to other noises from the area. They found a perfect match, not to a monster, but to something called an icequake. The bloop was the sound of a massive iceberg cracking and calving from an Antarctic glacier. Imagine a piece of ice the size of a small country, groaning and fracturing under immense stress. That colossal release of energy creates a sound wave powerful enough to travel across an entire ocean. Hydrophones later recorded numerous other ice quakes with spectrograms virtually identical to the bloop, confirming the source. So the monster was a glacier, a force of nature, not biology. This discovery was profound, not just for solving a mystery, but because it pointed to a much more alarming story. The increasing frequency of these ice quakes is a direct result of our warming planet. The bloop isn't the call of a monster from the deep. It's a distress signal from our own planet. Just as the bloop mystery was capturing imaginations, another bizarre sound was recorded. On March 5, 1997, the Equatorial Pacific Ocean Autonomous Hydrophone Array picked up something different. It was a steady, low-frequency rumble that earned the nickname the train for its rhythmic, chugging quality. It sounded almost mechanical, like the steady grinding of a locomotive moving along an endless track deep beneath the waves. The sound was so strange that early theories pointed to something man-made. Could it be a secret submarine or some kind of underwater industrial project? But the sound source was too remote and didn't match any known vessel. The monster theory here was less about a single creature and more about something impossibly large and slow, something that could produce such a constant, grinding noise. Was it a colossal organism dredging the ocean floor? Once again, NOAA scientists turned their attention toward Antarctica. Based on the sound's arrival direction, the leading theory is that the train is the sound of a massive iceberg grounding itself on the seafloor. The origin is thought to be in the Ross Sea, possibly near Cape Adare, though information remains limited. Imagine an iceberg weighing hundreds of billions of tons, scraping its keel along the rugged seabed. That immense friction generates a continuous, low-frequency vibration, a steady rumble that can travel for thousands of miles. The phantom train of the deep wasn't a monster or a machine, but another ghost in the Antarctic ice. The final mystery sound is Upsweep, first detected in 1991 and heard across the entire Pacific for decades. It's a long series of narrow-band, rising tones, like an eerie underwater siren, coming from a remote region of the South Pacific. Its volume peaked every spring and fall, puzzling scientists and inspiring wild theories about unknown sea creatures. But the sound's uniform structure pointed away from biology and toward geology. Researchers traced it to a volcanically active area and now believe upsweep comes from underwater volcanic activity, possibly lava interacting with seawater or gas escaping from a submarine volcano. The seasonal variation likely comes from changes in how sound travels through shifting ocean layers. Since 1991, upsweep has steadily weakened, suggesting its volcanic source is becoming less active. Rather than a creature's call, it's likely the fading voice of the Earth's hidden, fiery forces. So we come back to our original question. Bloop versus train versus upsweep. Which monster is real? The answer is none of them. Bloop was the crack of Antarctic ice, train the grinding of massive icebergs, and upsweep likely underwater volcanic activity. These natural forces are far more powerful than any mythical creature. The monster theory was so compelling because the ocean is the last great unexplored frontier on our planet. When so much is a mystery, it's exciting to imagine that anything could be down there. But the scientific investigation into these sounds reveals a truth that is even more awe-inspiring. While these famous sounds are explained, countless others remain, waiting for the next generation of explorers. What deep-sea mystery should we tackle next? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation into the unknown. Thanks for watching.